Good morning, almost afternoon. Today, we are going to explore the Menendez brother trial, a case that not only captivated the public attention, but also highlighted critical issues within the American legal system. This case serves as a lens through which we can examine the profound effects of childhood trauma, the media's influential role in shaping public perception, and the complexities of using mental health as a defense in court. The trial of the Menendez brothers underscores how childhood trauma and abuse can lead to criminal behavior, the media's powerful influence on public perception, and the challenges of employing mental health as a defense in the legal system. For starters, I'm going to give you some background on their case and specifically what happened. In 1989, Lyle and Eric committed the murder of their parents in their Beverly Hills home. Their parents being Jose and Kitty Menendez, who both committed very horrible acts of physical and emotional abuse on the boys, Jose being the main perpetrator and the one who did it all. Jose, it was said to have an authoritarian approach on the brothers and had these almost untouchable, unreachable goals that they had to attain. He expected the boys to go to college, to be professional athletes, mostly tennis, and Eric and Lyle did both end up going to college, Eric going to an Ivy League, and Lyle going to one of the UCs. They both had much respect and love for their father, but only out of fear. And that fear was installed by sexual violence that Jose committed on the boys. And Kitty was just a bystander. She would see it happening. She would hear about it happening from family, friends. She would be a main offender and not doing anything about it. But Jose was the one who committed such horrible acts on the boys. It is said that he started, or Eric and Lyle both testified that he started committing sexual and emotional abuse on them from the age of 6. And his approach to said abuse is so horrific that I'm not going to disclose much information about it. I feel that but Jose committed such horrible acts that these boys were so scared of him and scared of what he could do to them that they had decided to commit murder because they had begun to speak out even though they weren't speaking out yet. Lyle and Eric both had their own acts of rebellion against their parents, but they still respected them and were afraid of them. And that is what this case kind of highlights, is the fact that the boys were scared of their family, had experienced acts of horrible violence, and their father was the person that harmed them the most. And he was supposed to be the person that protects them. First, the Menendez brothers' actions illustrate the tragic consequences of unresolved childhood trauma. Research by Yao underscores the link between such trauma and criminal behavior. And having endured years of physical abuse at the hands of their parents, the brothers ultimately resorted to violence. Culminating in the murder of their parents, this tragic outcome highlights not only their individual pain, but also the broader societal issue of how untreated trauma can lead to destructive behaviors. The psychological scars left by abuse can distort an individual's perception of reality and create a cycle of violence that is difficult to break. It is said that Jose also experienced physical and sexual violence at the hands of his parents, but it is not confirmed, and that's just something I felt like adding and incorporating into this. However, next, the role of media representation is significant in shaping public understanding of such cases. Ballin points out that the media narratives often simplify complex issues like mental health and trauma, and the sensational coverage of the Menendez trial captivated audiences, focusing on dramatic aspects of the case rather than exploring the underlying psychological factors. The brothers were highly liked and loved by women at the time that this case was presented and broadcasted, and they still are to this day. They killed their parents in 1989, and the trial wasn't held until 1994, and people today still talk about it on social media. They are still romanticized by young women especially, and even though they had these young women on their back, they had to fight the whole, was their abuse real, or was it something that they actually dealt with, or was it something that they used as their defense? And this approach at which they took the defense as like they killed their parents out of fear, lead to a skewed perception of the individuals, such as the brothers involved, transforming them into caricatures, like I said, romanticized, rather than them being fully realized as human beings that went through such horrors. By reducing complex issues to sound bites and sensational headlines, the media risks fostering misunderstanding and stigma around mental health. And furthermore, as Barak details in his timeline of the Menendez case, public fascination was driven by the dramatic nature of the crime and the media's framing. Documentaries and series, including Netflix's portrayal, tend to emphasize sensational elements while neglecting critical underlying issues of mental health. This focus can diminish empathy for those involved and reinforce harmful stereotypes about individuals shaped by traumatic experiences. By prioritizing sensationalism, the media often overlooks the deeper societal responsibilities to address the root causes of such behavior. So the romanticization of the brothers basically harmed their entire case. Addressing these complexities within the criminal justice system is vital. The Manhattan Institute advocates for establishing mental health courts as a part of broader criminal justice reform. These courts can provide a more nuanced understanding of offenders' backgrounds, allowing for interventions that focus on rehabilitation rather than mere punishment. By integrating mental health considerations into legal proceedings, we can begin to shift the narrative from measures to supportive frameworks, or from punitive measures to supportive frameworks that address the needs of individuals affected by trauma. The reform is crucial for fostering a justice system that recognizes human stories behind the headlines. And in conclusion, the Menendez brothers' trial serves as a powerful reminder of the interplay between childhood experiences, media representation, and the legal system. By recognizing such connections, we can work toward a more informed and compassionate approach to criminal justice. Acknowledging the impact of childhood trauma on behavior is not only a matter of justice, but also a crucial step toward healing for individuals and society as a whole. Thank you.